bold and unexpected move, President Donald Trump appears to be revisiting his so-called Gaza card as a strategic lever, aiming to court Russian President Vladimir Putin while simultaneously applying pressure on Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, signaling a dramatic shift in his approach to the war in Ukraine. Echoing a startling and controversial parallel to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's strategy, Trump is reportedly exploring his Gaza trump card as a potential way to influence Putin's thinking, raising eyebrows among diplomats and analysts who see this as a high-stakes and unconventional maneuver in international diplomacy. Marking a dramatic pivot from his previous peace in 24 hours rhetoric, Trump's latest peace plan appears to now involve his son-in-law Jared Kushner in a central role, suggesting that Trump is relying on trusted family members and high-profile envoys to advance a plan that could reshape the trajectory of the Ukraine conflict. Reports indicate that the future of the Ukraine war may now hinge on a secretive and high-level meeting between Jared Kushner and Vladimir Putin, a development that underscores the growing importance of behind-the-scenes diplomacy and the increasingly personal nature of Trump's approach to resolving one of the world's most dangerous conflicts. Trump himself hinted that Jared Kushner could be joining Special Envoy Steve Witkoff on a high-stakes mission to Moscow next week, a trip that could carry enormous implications for US-Russia relations and for the broader efforts to broker peace in Ukraine amid mounting international scrutiny. At the same time that Trump is reportedly tasking Steve Witkoff with the delicate mission of meeting directly with Putin, the US Secretary of the Army is being dispatched to Ukraine, highlighting a dual-track approach that combines high-level diplomacy with continued military and strategic engagement on the ground. This dramatic turn follows the emergence just last week of a detailed 28-point peace plan, which US officials have since said has been carefully fine-tuned, indicating that Trump's team is refining every element of the proposal in an effort to win over both Putin and Zelensky while navigating a complex and volatile geopolitical landscape.
Ukraine is doing well. I think they're pretty happy about it. They'd like to see it end. And we won't know for a little while, but we're making progress.
You said, what are the big stakes?
We settled 8 wars, and I thought this would be one of the easier ones because of my relationship with President Putin. But this is probably one of the more difficult ones. There's a lot of hatred.
What's the next step?
They're going to keep talking. They're talking to Russia now. Steve Witkoff is going over, maybe with Jared. I'm not sure about Jared going, but he's involved in the process. Smart guy, and they're going to be meeting with President Putin, I believe, next week in Moscow.
Despite holding no official position within the White House, Jared Kushner stepped decisively into the spotlight, taking center stage in efforts aimed at ending the Gaza conflict, positioning himself as a key player in one of the most sensitive and high-profile diplomatic crises in recent memory. Kushner is widely regarded as the principal architect behind President Trump's ambitious Israeli-Palestinian peace initiative, designing strategies that attempt to bridge decades-old divides while navigating the complex web of regional politics and international expectations. Approximately 8 months ago, Kushner began collaborating closely with former British Prime Minister Tony Blair on a series of Gaza-focused proposals, drawing on Blair's diplomatic experience to shape a plan aimed at de-escalating the conflict and establishing a framework for long-term stability. Kushner played a hands-on role in designing and advocating for a Gaza plan that proposed a carefully phased Israeli military withdrawal, linking it directly to a ceasefire agreement, in an effort to balance security concerns with the urgent humanitarian needs of civilians caught in the conflict. He was actively involved in grueling late-night negotiation sessions, sitting down with senior Israeli officials and Arab mediators, often working around the clock to reconcile deeply entrenched positions and push forward a framework that could potentially bring lasting calm to the region. Kushner held multiple high-level meetings with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other top Israeli officials, coordinating closely on military objectives and political strategies, while ensuring that any proposed ceasefire or withdrawal would align with Israel's broader security priorities. According to the Israeli government, Netanyahu and Trump's influential son-in-law engaged in detailed discussions focused on strategies to disarm Hamas, weighing both military and diplomatic options in an effort to reduce hostilities and prevent further escalation in Gaza. Kushner also traveled extensively across the region, meeting with leaders in Egypt, Qatar, and various Gulf states, seeking their political backing and ensuring that any ceasefire plan would have the firm support of key regional stakeholders, which he viewed as essential to its success. However, critics have raised serious concerns about a potential conflict of interest, warning that Kushner's prominent role in the negotiations could give him the opportunity to personally profit from post-conflict reconstruction deals, casting a shadow over his humanitarian claims. Throughout the process, Kushner positioned himself as a humanitarian negotiator, emphasizing his commitment to the release of hostages and the protection of civilian lives, portraying his involvement as motivated by moral responsibility rather than political gain.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.